The election is right around the corner, and Democrats are making an unexpected visit to Kentucky today. It is our top story here at noon. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Brooke Hash. Vice President Kamala Harris's running mate, Tim Walz, will be in Louisville this afternoon. Some call it an unexpected move because Donald Trump won Kentucky in the last two elections. But early voting gets started here today. And we just saw yesterday Governor Walz appear in Wisconsin to make the push to the polls there. He's expected to land here around 4 o'clock this afternoon before he heads to a private fundraiser. Last night, he was joined by former President Obama and rapper Eminem.
We do not need to see what an older, loonier Donald Trump looks like with no guardrails. America's ready to turn the page. We're ready for a better story. Michigan, we are ready for a President Kamala Harris.
Now, most shows showing Harris and former President Donald Trump neck and neck in key states with just under 2 weeks to go. Harris not on the campaign trail for a second day now, but there are new attacks on Trump from one-time allies to now enemies from within his former administration. ABC's Christiane Cordero is in Washington.
Today, Democratic VP candidate Tim Walz joined the millions of people who have cast their votes in the presidential election as a searing critique against Trump emerges from the former president's longest-serving chief of staff, retired General John Kelly. In an interview with the New York Times, Kelly calls Trump a fascist, and Kelly says Trump privately asked why his generals couldn't be more like Hitler's generals.
Certainly, the former president is in the far right area. He's certainly an authoritarian, admires people who are dictators. He has said that. So he certainly falls into the general definition of fascist, for sure.
Kelly's comments mirror similar reporting in The Atlantic magazine, all of which Trump's campaign calls a, quote, outrageous lie. Trump has been open about qualities he admires in authoritarian leaders. In Greensboro, North Carolina last night, Trump praised Russian President Vladimir Putin as well as Chinese President Xi.
He runs 1.4 billion people with an iron fist. He's a smart man. He's a fierce man.
Kelly, a retired four-star Marine general who spent 45 years in uniform, hasn't endorsed a presidential candidate, instead urging voters consider character over policy. His warning about Trump is not a one-off. At least 11 former Trump officials have all denounced Trump as a danger to the country. In a statement, the Trump campaign stating John Kelly has totally beclowned himself, calling the stories fabricated and adding, Trump has always honored the service and sacrifice of all of our military men and women. Walz speaking out about Kelly's comments as he cast his vote.
John Kelly's, who I thank for showing the courage to come forward, truly telling the world, those closest to Donald Trump know how dangerous he is.
Tonight, Harris will participate in CNN's live town hall from Pennsylvania. This was initially offered as the second presidential debate between the two candidates, but only Harris agreed to that. Christiane Cordero, ABC News, Washington.
Gen Z and millennials make up nearly half of the eligible voting population, and following years of low voter turnout for these groups, the Louisville Urban League of Young Professionals hosted a discussion to spur voter turnout and discuss the important issues. The young voters mentioned the economy, student loans, and education as issues that drive them to the polls. The discussion consisted of U of L students and professionals across the metro, including Lyndon Pryor with the Urban League.
Young leaders and young voters are among the largest emerging demographic, and they are oftentimes the demographic that we don't talk to enough. And so we need to hear their voice. We need to see what things are concerning to them.
Now, research shows more than 40 million members of Gen Z will be eligible to vote in this election. That includes 8.3 million newly eligible youth. Today, in-person excused voting starts for Kentuckians. That means anyone with a valid reason can vote in person. In Jefferson County, the early voting polling location is at the Crown Plaza Hotel on Phillips Lane. Keep in mind, it's not open on weekends. In-person excused voting runs through October 30th, and then no excuse early voting will begin on October 31st. That's when any voter can go to the polls early. Early voting ends November 2nd, and then Election Day, Tuesday, November 5th. You can check out a full list of those early voting locations and the races you'll see on your ballot in your voter guide. We've got it posted under the GMK tab on WHAS11.com. Merger talks are reportedly back on the table for one of Louisville's largest employers. Bloomberg News reports Humana and Cigna are once again discussing a deal. Discussions first started last year, but were called off in December when neither side could come to an agreement. Mayor Craig Greenberg responded to the reports yesterday, saying he believes Humana is here to stay.
And based on my conversations with their new CEO, Jim, and many of the other senior executives at Humana, that is my expectation and belief that Humana will continue to grow here in Louisville, continue to be a critically important part of our city for years to come.
Humana employs more than 12,000 people here in Louisville, and it's the city's 5th largest employer. Another day of beautiful blue skies and warming things up once again, Sam.
Warming things up once again, Brooke, and once again, you know the drill. Another great time lapse from this morning. The sunrise at 8 a.m., so keep in mind our days are getting shorter and shorter, and yesterday we did eke out some low 80s in the metro. 82 degrees actually was our grand total yesterday afternoon, and today likely hitting about the same mark. I do have us sitting at 81 as we get into the 4 p.m. hour as far as we're concerned across the map. And the past 20 hours, you can see yesterday entering the lower 80s. And as we went throughout much of the morning today, it felt like a summer type of afternoon, kind of a late summer into August, early September. And here we are in late October, still dealing with some very warm temperatures. On the map right now, temperatures having no problem rising to the low to middle 70s. The average high temperature now at 68 degrees. So we're going to be upwards today of 10 to 15 degrees above normal for this time of the year. Down to the southeast, Springfield towards the Lebanon and Campbellsville areas, easily around 72 to about 74 degrees. So today, the average high temperature 68, and we're going to be hitting 81 in the city. And keep in mind, into the course of the night tonight, there will be a clear sky. Most low temperatures tonight will be easily falling into the 40s. So we're going to be cooling off tomorrow morning, and along with the cooler air for the morning hours, we're actually going to be only back into the mid to upper 60s for tomorrow afternoon. Back to the 80s Friday, but there will be a stray shower passing through from west to east. I'll be talking more about that brief rain shower chance to close out this work week in a few more minutes.
All right, Sam. New here at noon, a Bullock County woman just pleaded guilty to murdering her 2 sons back in November. Police say Tiffany Lucas shot her 2 sons, ages 6 and 9, inside of a bedroom of their home. Her attorneys previously said she was legally insane at the time. But today, Lucas changed her plea to guilty on both murder counts. She could face 20 to 50 years of each count with the possibility of life in prison. Her sentencing is set for November 22nd. A former Indiana police officer was arrested this week for possession of child sex abuse materials. Indiana State Police said it happened in North Vernon after a 2-month-long investigation. Former officer Jaden Vanisdal allegedly contacted a girl through a social media app. Police said he sent and received inappropriate pictures with her. Vanisdal was arrested Tuesday, and he was already on suspension when that investigation started and fired before his arrest. LMPD is gathering after information of a 16-year-old girl who was shot in the St. Denis neighborhood. Police said she was dropped off at Mary and Elizabeth Hospital just before 10 last night. They later determined that shooting happened near Cane Run Road and Shanks Lane. We know the girl is expected to survive, but if you know anything about that shooting, call the LMPD tip line at 574-LMPD. Anchorage Middletown Fire has a new interim chief today. Kevin Tyler is stepping into the new role. Chief Tyler has 38 years of fire experience under his belt. He retired from Louisville Fire but didn't stay out of the business for long, joining the former Harrods Creek Fire Department, which later merged into Anchorage Middletown. Chief Tyler said he is honored to lead a talented team and is excited to embrace the new technology to help with its emergency response. Kentucky State Senator Johnny Turner died this week from injuries he suffered more than a month ago during a tragic lawnmower accident. Turner served in the House from 1999 until 2002 and then was elected to the Senate in 2020. Turner represented the Eastern Kentucky District 29, which includes Bell, Floyd, Harlan, Knott, and Letcher counties. He won the May primary and was running unopposed for the November election. The Republican Party of Kentucky released a statement in response to Senator Turner's death, saying in part he was a tireless advocate for southeastern Kentucky's working men and women. His work earned him deep respect across this region, and his countless contributions to the Commonwealth will not be forgotten. Senator Turner was 76 years old.